Congressman Darrell Issa, a California Republican, joins me now. Sir, you're the vice chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Do you want to see boots on the ground in Venezuela, even if it's just a last resort?
Oh, thanks for having me on, Stuart. And it's certainly an important question. Most presidents probably would have put boots on the ground. This president pledged to us that he would use a different system, and he has. He's done an interesting combination of a military use, but let's be honest. This is somebody indicted 5 years ago. This is simply a criminal indictment being brought to justice who happens to be a dictator who seized power. And remember, more than 60 countries have openly said he is not the legitimate leader of Venezuela. And I think that's an important distinction that over the weekend, a lot of people kept saying, well, if you'll take this head of state, what about another head of state? Well, this is not a legitimate head of state. And he certainly didn't move to quash an indictment over the last 5 years, including during the Biden administration.
There's a lot of talk that Venezuela is a domino and that other dominoes are about to fall. Specifically, shall we say, Colombia. The president mentioned that country by name. Nicaragua, and there's Cuba. Is it the first domino to fall?
Well, I hope so. I hope that a return to, if you will, capitalism rather than socialism and state-owned property, return to personal freedoms and free and fair elections. You know, Stuart, you and I both saw a period of time when countries, including Venezuela, enjoyed what we would call democracy in the Southern Hemisphere. And we were watching that disappear country by country. Under President Trump's leadership, we are beginning to push back on that. That's separate from the activities of these dictatorships, which include drug trafficking. And this isn't new. I mean, Noriega was a generation ago, but if you, in fact, turn your country into a supporter of exporting drugs and you're indicted, you will be convicted. I just want to do one thing, if I may. A lot of people keep making this point that most of the cocaine ended up in Europe in this case. The reason there was an indictment in New York is for crimes that did come to the United States. And I hope people would realize that even if it was 80 or 90% Europe, it was still killing Americans, and he was indicted for these crimes that, quite frankly, date back to 2011, when this case of drug trafficking was opened in the Southern District of New York.
Got it. Congressman, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on a very important day, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Darrell.